Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is a Gizmo Board Games Top 10. Yes, you heard that right. A top 10 list for me. I said I'm not going to do these often, but I felt like this one the timing was great. Normally I would do a crowdfunding video in the middle of a month, but nobody watches those anyway, and here middle of July, there's not a whole lot going on. I've got slight interest in a couple of them at best. I've taken 48 games, new to me this year, and broken them down to the 10 as of right now, on the 5th of July is when I'm filming this. The games that I liked the best. And again, this is just new games, new to me in 2022. There are some older games on here, obviously. I haven't just played fresh new games. There are a lot of new games on the list. I have gotten my hands on some new games. New Kickstarters came in, what have you. You know, things that get buzz, I'm going to try to get my hands on and play. So that said, there is a lot of newer games on this list, but there are a few old ones. I have 48 unique games this year. I think I mentioned that already, but I'll go ahead and say it again here. I've whittled it down to 14 or 15, I think. 14 or 15. I'm going to do the top 10, but first I'm going to throw out these honorable mentions. The games that just missed the list, and I couldn't just delete them completely. I thought they were worthy of at least mentioning that I really enjoyed them, but I had to cut out a few to get down to 10. So these are the ones I got left on the side. So the first honorable mention is Horrified. I've played this one quite a few times this year. It's a cooperative game where you're trying to get away from classic movie monsters and save villagers in a town. It's fun. It plays 1 to 5 or 6-ish people. I don't remember. I played this a handful of times. Solo, with 2, with 3, and with 4, for sure. So all the player counts are covered, and it's a cooperative game. I enjoy cooperative games. I enjoy the horror theme, as you'll probably see again later in this list. And I thought Horrified was a really good game. Just missed my top 10. Another one that just missed my top 10 is Libertalia, Winds of Gale Crest. Plays to 6, 1 to 6. It's got a really good solo mode where it feels like you're playing a 2-player game. So that's great. And the 2-player game, although I haven't played it yet, is also set up in a way that you've got a ghost 3rd player that doesn't do much, but it does enough to add that variety that you can't just know exactly what your opponent's going to do. So Libertalia, Winds of Gale Crest, a fun game. The variety in it is amazing just because you're playing with up to 40 different characters, but you're only going to get so many out each hand, and you're only playing 3 hands each game you play. So you're only going to see 18 to 20, I think, different characters each game. And when they come out, how they come out, and how they're used by each player in the game, because they can carry over from round to round, is going to vary the game a lot. It's good, a little cutthroat, but not too bad game where you're going out collecting treasures and playing with pirates who are going to kind of pillage and kill and hurt each other off. And we've enjoyed playing that one. Libertalia, Winds of Gale Crest, just missed my top 10. Another one that just missed my top 10 is On Tour, a little roll and write, where you're going around trying to build the best tour routes. It's got a European side and an American side. I played the Europe side, so I was going around country to country. And depending on the dice rolls, you're rolling 2d10, and you're going to place them in 2 different zones that are going to come out from cards. And you're placing the 2 numbers that you rolled. Each roll is going to be placed into a different zone based on the number. So if it's 2 and 9 that's rolled, you're going to place a 92 somewhere and a 29 somewhere. And later in the game, that could really mess you up as you need specific rolls to come out. There's a couple other little unique twists, like when you roll doubles, and if you pick the exact city and things like that I won't get into. But it's a nice little easy to play roll and writes. I really enjoyed it, but not enough to quite crack my top 10. It's On Tour. And finally, the last honorable mention I have is Reavers of Midgard. I really liked Champions of Midgard. I finally got Reavers of Midgard to the table this year. I enjoyed it. A little dice worker placement. You're going to roll the dice, and the dice are going to kind of dictate what you get to do with them. Also, everybody's playing their turns together, or not together, but whenever somebody's playing a turn, everybody has the opportunity to take that action too. So it's very engaging around the table. You're not waiting on, even though it's a Euro game, you're not waiting your turn. It's very much an interactive European game. And it's got the dice, but you're rolling them ahead of time and then deciding what to do with them based on the roll. Unlike Champions Midgard, which you're kind of rolling the dice after the fact and hoping you get good results. So Reavers Midgard, I really enjoyed it. Just missed my top 10. So moving on to my top 10. Number 10, Azul, a classic tile placement game where you're drafting tiles and then you're leaving more tiles potentially for your opponents to draft, and you're laying them out onto the board, and then at the end of the round you're going to slide them over and put them in place and try to fill in the board and score points. It's easy to play. It's easy to learn. There's different strategies to it. It deserves the praise it gets. I really enjoyed it. I finally got to play it this year. Definitely a good game. Good entry-level style game, too. So Azul, it's got hundreds of variants. Hundreds is probably exaggeration, but multiple variants. I have not tried any of them. I've only played the basic game. But it was good enough that I would be interested in trying some of the variants in the future. So we'll move on to my number 9. All right, my number 9 is Shadows over Camelot. I think this is the oldest game that's going to appear on this list, but it's a really good game. Playing in a group, up to 7, I believe, for the 7 different Knights of the Round Table. And you're going out on quests, but one person potentially is working against you. The Saboteur, if you will. It's a semi-cooperative or fully cooperative with the threat that, maybe nobody's the traitor or maybe somebody's the traitor. But you're trying to complete quests, and if you complete enough quests at the end of the game, you're victorious. But if the traitor or the game, without a traitor even, fails enough quests, then you lose. I enjoyed this. We played it a couple times back to back. The first game we didn't have a traitor, and we lost. The second game we did have a traitor, and we won until the traitor revealed himself and turned 2 positives into a negative, and we lost. And it was pretty great. That's exactly what the game wanted to happen with the traitor mechanic, and that's what happened in our game. And we had fun, no matter what. Just a fun little group game, the co-op-ish adventure. Shadows over Camelot, I believe it's out of print, so if you can get your hands on it, I'd recommend it for sure. All right, my number 8. It's a Wonderful Kingdom. It's a 2-player game. I pick, you choose, engine builder. I really like playing with cards. I really like engine building. I really like the fact that I can play it one-on-one or solo. It's got a really good solo mode too, I've mentioned in the past. Yeah, it's a Wonderful Kingdom. It's got so many modules that add variety. You can play with the base calamities, or if you've got the full-on Kickstarter like I do, I think there's 5 or 6 other potential modules for just how you're going to deal with the bad things in the game, because you're trying to give your opponent bad things, they're trying to give you bad things, and then you got to deal with them around building your engine and trying to get the most points. I really enjoy it. I'm going to say that a lot, I think, on this list, but it's true. It's a Wonderful Kingdom, a great little 2-player engine building game with some I pick, you choose card drafting elements. All right, my number 7. I played this one a lot since it arrived. It's Foundations of Rome. It's just a big abstract game. You're so easy to play, but it looks so amazing on the table because of all the little miniatures you're putting out, and you're slowly building up Rome. You're buying deeds, and then you're placing plots on the land, and then when you get enough plots together, you're going to put a building there, and the buildings are going to earn you money and population and civic points. And basically, you're going to play through 3 eras of Rome, and you're going to collect points based on what you've got on the board, what your opponents have on the board, and how well you've put your civic buildings and other buildings next to their buildings. So it's got 5 modules built into it. I haven't even touched them all because we've had enough fun with just the base game so far. But I'm looking forward to adding more variety to the game now that we've figured it out. It's Foundations of Rome. That's my number 7 game that I played this year. All right, number 6 is Space Base, another kind of classic game. It's another game where it plays a lot. So I like that. I like that when it plays well. This one doesn't play at 1. It plays well 2 to 6, and you're interactive. Every turn you're doing something potentially based on the dice roll. You're trying to build your engine, again, engine building, in a way that when your opponents roll dice, you get things, and when you roll dice, you get things, and you're drafting more spaceship parts or spaceships, and when you put one in a spot, the next one goes out in space, and that gives you actions on your opponent's turn. So you're trying to accumulate a certain number of points faster than your opponents. So it's a space race, space base. And I really like it. I like games that cater to a wide variety of groups and are interactive on other players' turns. So you're not just sitting around waiting your turn. And engine builders, you know, the further the game progresses, the more things you've got to do. I enjoy that as well. And Space Base has it all. That's my number 6. Number 5. Speaking of engine building and card drafting and all those things I mentioned a few times on this list, my number 5 is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Another game where I like the solo version. I haven't beat it yet. I haven't even come close yet. Another game that's engine building, card drafting, card collecting. Yeah, it's got it all. you're just building your engine and you're trying to terraform Mars. And you're trying to do it so that way you're doing it better than your opponents. Because you're all doing it together, but you want to contribute more in the end. It's another one of those games where you're kind of like a Race for the Galaxy, where you're playing an action and you hope that somebody else is playing another action you would like to take, because everybody's going to take whatever actions the group individually decides to play. So if everybody plays the same action, you're only going to do that one action that round. But if 3 different people play 3 different actions, you're going to do those 3 actions in the round. So there's a lot of what's my opponent's going to do, what am I going to do, strategy to try to work out the round play. So again, interactive engine building. It's the theme. I enjoy those things, and that's another game with it. My number 5 for this year, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Number 4 is Cascadia. This game has been nominated for the Game of the Year. I think it should be announced maybe by the time this video comes out in middle of July. I don't remember when the official announcements are. I know it's sometime in July, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see. But Cascadia is a game where you're drafting tiles and you're drafting animals and you're putting them on the tile to build your habitat. And there's 5 different animals and they all want 5 specific things to score. So you're trying to beat your opponents at getting the best habitat of animals in front of you to appease the animals and collect the most points. It plays very easy. It's, again, a nice, easy theme for everybody to get around, you know. Land and animals, 2 things that people understand. And, yeah, it's not hard to teach, but it is a strategic game. I think anybody could play it, but perfecting it could be a little bit of work. I just really like it. It's a nice, easy game. You can play it once, turn around, play it again. About a half-hour a game. It's not too bad, and it's very easy to play, very fun to play, and very strategic. That's Cascadia, nominated for Game of the Year here in Germany, and I think it's worthy of the nomination. My number 3 game in 2022 is Keyflower, and this is another classic game, top 10 on the old BGG top 100. Or it said top 10. I don't know if it's top 10, but a top game on the BGG top 100, and for good reason. You have a set number of workers. They're hidden behind a board, so not everybody knows what you have unless they're really paying attention. And then you're bidding on places, and you can outbid people. You just need to play more workers, and you got to match the same color to play on the place or to bid for the place. If you win the place, it goes into your tableau and can get you points. You can play on anybody else's tableau, so even if you lose a bid for the place you wanted, yeah, you didn't have it in your home, but you can still use it in somebody else's home. They just get whatever workers you've committed to it for the next round. And I really like that give and take of workers and drafting and bidding. Again, it's got a lot of interactivity because of what is everybody doing, what do I think they're going to do, what color workers do I think they still have, so I can best manipulate to make sure I get what I want. Because I've got 4 red workers, and I don't think anybody else has 5. So I can bid my 4 red workers and know I'm going to get that tile. Oh no, he did have 5. It's just that style game. I really enjoy it. It's Keyflower. It's a classic, and it's my number 3 game that I've played so far in 2022. All right, that gets me into my number 2 game. And this one is a game that I knew I was going to like before I ordered it. I ordered it after the Kickstarter had finished because I didn't find out about it during the Kickstarter until the Season 2 Kickstarter came around, which I'm waiting for. But this is Final Girl. Final Girl, I really enjoy it. I play a lot of solo games. I started this channel as only a solo game player for the most part. with the occasional game group. Now I've got more game groups, really, so I haven't played as much solo, and I really appreciate that. But I do from time to time play solo game, and when I do, I really like pulling out Final Girl. It's the base game is you're a Final Girl, and you're running from one of the horror enemies, and basically you're making your own Final Girl movie. You know, basic horror story trope of, you know, trying to not be a victim to the big bad, and the big bad's chasing you around. It's modular, so you can pull out one bad guy and one Final Girl and one location, and they don't have to be from the same pack. In season 1, there are 5 different packs. I only have 3 of them so far, and season 2 is introducing 5 more. So it's a lot of Final Girls, a lot of bad guys, and a lot of lands that you're going to play on to create the variety. But I just like how every game's its own story. It plays pretty quick and easy. Hopefully it doesn't play too quick. I have had a game where I lost pretty much immediately, and that's just down to the luck of the rolls. So it does have a little bit of that rolling luck, but I don't mind it in this game because it kind of fits the theme. When you do bad, like, yeah, you're just getting creamed in this horror film. You never stood a chance, and you're gonna die quickly, but it's gonna be fun, and you can fire it up and, you know, play the sequel right away, so to speak. So Final Girl, I just really have a lot of fun getting killed by the big bad, and I occasionally beat him once or twice. But yeah, if it's a game I play by myself in a half hour and really enjoy making my own little horror story, that's Final Girl. Which leads me into number 1, and if you've watched a lot of my videos up to this point, I'm sure you've seen it coming. It's Ark Nova. It's a lot of people's number 1s these days. It's easily the best game I've played this year. Just drafting and making my zoo. Again, it's a little bit of engine building, a lot of card drafting, a lot of organizing turn actions and planning out, make sure I have the resources to do the thing I want to do in 3 turns, and hoping my opponents don't block me on the way, and they don't even know they're blocking me. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So there's a little bit of interactivity, not much, but they can steal what you were trying to go for. But you can also, if you've got the right cards, you can benefit from their actions too. So minor interactivity, a little bit of engine building, in that the cards you have can help future cards. But mostly it's just you're building a zoo. It feels like you're building a zoo. You're creating the conservation projects, or contributing to conservation projects. And it's got the dual score track, so the appeal of your score is going one way, or the appeal of your zoo is going one way, your conservation is going the other way, and the game ends whenever somebody's paths cross at the end of the round, and then you do final scoring, and you see who has the most not negative points, because half the team's probably going to have negative points at the end of this one. It does play long. It is an hour per player. Solo, 2 players, 3 players. Just expect each player you have in the group, it's going to be an hour or more with Teach. But I think it's time well spent. It flies by. Ark Nova, I played it every couple weeks, at least since I got it. I'm supposed to be playing it again this week, and I look forward to it. I have not gotten tired of it. I really enjoy Ark Nova. It's my number 1 game thus far, being July 5th, 2020. Yep, my number 1 game that I played this year, Ark Nova. And there you have it. There's my top 10 plus some honorable mentions of the games I played for the first time in 2022. And I would like to see what you have played. Let me know in the comments below, please. What are your top 10 games that you've played this year so far? What did you like from my top 10? What do you think I should check out based on my top 10 that I might not have thought about? Because this should give you some idea of what I like. And if you've got recommendations, I'd love to hear them. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to get more content. Every week I put out a new video. It can be a review. It can be a top 10. It can be just me chattering at the computer, or at the camera, I should say, for some amount of minutes. Most of my videos aren't any more than 30 minutes. I think most of them are in the 10 to 20 minute range for the most part. So I'm not asking for a lot of your time. I'm just asking you to keep coming back and see what else I've got. I plan on doing the follow-up video for this probably in January of next year for my top 22 games that I played in the whole year 2022. We'll see how many of these stick around, and maybe I got 10 completely new games that take over the list. Who knows? I look forward to finding out with you, and if you look forward to finding out with me, subscribe, come back for more, hit the like. I will catch you next time. Thank you.